What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy Torchinsky. Welcome back to the Zero Doubt podcast. Today, I am with Jamie Gooch, an anxiety relief coach who's got a little studio in Painesville, Ohio, and has been doing it for almost 5 years. And we're going to chat, we're going to talk, we're going to hear your story and how you got into, because anxiety is a big topic. We all get it at different times. So through breath work, you have found a lot of wisdom and healing and transformation. So let's just jump into it. Let's hear how you got into it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeremy. So it was back in, I don't know, probably 2015 when I started. I began my career in dental hygiene and just freshly out of college into this new career. And I found this really great office that was holistic. It was very intense, like super long work days, but I was just hungry to start a career. So I really didn't have like a work-life balance. I was just gone all day and not really realizing that I didn't know how to regulate my nervous system or what that even felt like. So a couple years into working in the dental field, I was getting pretty sick. I had like gut issues. I just thought like waking up with a pit in my stomach was normal. I would come home. I mean, in the health field or even a hairstylist, you're like a therapist. You're like with these anxious dental patients and you're taking on their anxiety, but keeping them, holding that calm space for them. So I'd come home and I'd just be exhausted and crying and eating like crap and just not taking care of me. So it was in 2020 when we couldn't work. We got shut down in the dental field for like, it was at least 7 weeks that I was like alone with myself. And I realized they called us back to work and I didn't want to go back. I was like, this is just so nice. Like my thoughts, like my mind, everything was quiet and I had time to like reflect. I'm sure other people, it might have caused anxiety, but for me, it was like being out of that setting. I was like learning how to regulate myself. I didn't know breath work yet, but I was like, this is so nice. So I actually, at that point, I left that job because I didn't want to go back. And kind of breathwork found me. A friend sent me a podcast and it was about breathwork. I never knew the term. I just knew meditation was hard
It's the
to
podcast.
it was actually who I learned breathwork through. It was by Samantha Skelly. She owns Pause Breathwork out in California.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember like exactly what it was on, but it was introducing you to breathwork and all
Uh-huh.
about that.
And you
So
fell in love.
yeah, I went to YouTube and I was like, oh, this is great. This shuts off like those racing thoughts, but gets me very present. And I quickly, like, it just, usually when things are aligned for me, I don't totally remember thinking about it. So, like, I was signed up to become a facilitator. I didn't like have a plan to have a business, but I was like, I want to learn more. So I signed up for Pause Breathwork, their facilitator program. So it was a 6 month, very in depth virtual program where I learned all about the techniques, actually like would record myself with clients giving free sessions to like get my credits and everything to get certified. And through that was like the beginning of my healing journey with breathwork. So I just realized like how good it felt to be present, to learn how to quiet my thoughts and not be like afraid to be alone with my thoughts, because I think it's easy to drown that out with music or social media or drinking, drugs. Like it's just this, we get afraid to feel, or sometimes just our thoughts go off the rails and it's hard to like reel it back in. So breathwork's been that thing that's helped me find my baseline and get me back to it when I'm spiraling or just going through that everyday stress and anxiety.
Mhm.
So it all kind of started with not being able to handle a career that I loved in dental. And I started using breath work for myself. And when I graduated from the program of breath work, I started my business like that week. I was like, all right, let's find a studio. Let's start helping people.
Wow. Wow, because you were just sitting with yourself in just like this calm mindset, and that came up through you to open up a business?
Yeah. What I've noticed is when we get deeper with our body through our breath, and it lets go of things, you can let go of anxiety, stress, and trauma, but it also makes room for clarity. And it's like you're tapping into your inner wisdom and the divine, depending on no matter what you believe, like you just get so connected with the earth and above. And yeah, those thoughts kind of come in like it's, I know they're my thoughts, but it's maybe something I wouldn't have felt the courage to go for and probably pay attention to when I was like anxious and distracted.
You got those thoughts through, the schooling with getting certified for breath work, right?
Yeah, like that gave me the tools to feel confident. And then just by like doing the sessions myself and taking the time to learn breath work gave me that clarity.
Mhm. And after, like, how many sessions did you already start feeling different, and what was that feeling?
So back when I first started it, it was within the first like YouTube video that I felt lighter. Like I couldn't explain the sensations, but as you're changing your CO2 and oxygen, you'll notice like these little tingles in your hands and feet. You'll notice the heart rate slowing down. So I immediately was feeling the physical effects without knowing what it was doing to my body. And then going through the breath work course, they actually took me on longer sessions. So that's like what I do with my clients is it might not be practical to lay there and do a 60-minute session by yourself. Like we get
Right.
pulled to our phone and all the
Yep.
things. But when you're with someone guiding you, that's when during my certification, I was actually led by peers and like these breakthroughs were coming through when they were practicing their techniques on me. And then I would, like vice versa, have this time to practice breath work. So it was like
Mhm. Kind
during
of,
those sessions.
yeah, laying on the ground 60 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of breakthroughs were happening?
Well, everyone's is different, but for me, it was like these visuals. So I would like see different colors, different sensations, and like with the sessions, you can like set an intention. So it might be like whatever I was feeling at the time, like learning how to release anxiety out of the body. So they would guide me to like feel where that is in the body. And you usually it's like a physical contraction or pain. And once that releases, it would be like this sense of calm. I would get like, I don't know, I just have these ideas that pop in, like literally during the session that I have to stop and write them down. So it's like having a journal right there and just be like, oh, I could help people with this. Oh, I could start this business. And that's where those thoughts started. Like, it wasn't intrusive thoughts. It was just like these, like, oh, aha moments would pop in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what's happening to the body when you do this kind of breath work for 60 minutes?
So, what's the biggest thing is we're always in fight or flight mode. So after about 8 minutes of intentional breathing, you begin to like let the guard down. So the nervous system is trying to find safety, but when we're constantly stressed, go, 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 we're in that fight or flight where our digestion is affected. And so in these sessions, you gotta give it like 8 to 10 minutes because the mind is gonna like pop in and be like, you forgot to do your laundry. Da, 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 da. It's always there. So learning to get present. The mind shuts down. We're changing, like I said, the CO2 and oxygen in the body, depending on the breath, because it can be like intense patterns where it's more higher CO2 or higher oxygen. And then, like with the nervous system, the vagus nerve, if you're familiar with that whole nerve that goes through the
Yeah.
body.
Very important nerve, right?
Yes, that we're increasing the vagal tone. So it's like this muscle that we're not using, and we have to slowly get it used to relaxing and being able to tap into the diaphragm, and we're getting these muscles moving. That just sends you into this state of bliss when you actually like can get past the mind,
Uh-huh.
begin to relax, and there's actually now safety in the body. So the body can release, like you don't have to think about it. The body is releasing trauma that is stored in the body. People just instantly start crying or laughing. Like that's where those visuals come in. And it's really just getting out of our own way. Because once you have like a really amazing session, you like want to repeat it every time, but we don't have that control. Every session's different.
8 to 10 minutes. Is that what you're saying, to get past that?
Yeah, like get past like the mind is just like sometimes blocking us. And then once you get past that, it's like, okay, I'm here for it. I'm not getting up and going to get distracted. Like I'm not afraid of what's going to come through, because you just never know. Like there's tears, there's anger, there's yelling. It just depends on the person's like
Oh, yeah. And what,
past and
yeah,
what they need to release.
yeah, absolutely. It's very similar to like a plant medicine ceremony.
Yeah, definitely. Like we are our own drug. So it is,
Yeah, we're our own healers.
yes,
Yeah,
it's all in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
We
Have you
just,
done any sort of plant medicines?
no, I have not.
Well, you don't need to. You're doing your breath.
Yeah.
What's getting you there too.
Yes.
Um, so talk about a little bit about like what are the different breathing patterns? Are you mixing it up? Are you doing one kind of breathing pattern for most of these sessions?
Yeah. So for me, I change it up, and with the anxiety being like my main focus for people, that's usually who comes to me. So that's where it's like I'm relatable in that aspect. Someone who's suffering from anxiety, I am very cautious about not going intense, because there's some very intense breathwork patterns that are amazing, but I don't think it's necessary for like the transformation, because I don't want to cause a panic attack so the breath that I usually like start with is teaching them how to do a deep belly breath. Like, so go ahead, take a deep breath. So in through the nose, put your hand on your belly, and try not to, we're bringing it up into the chest. We want to bring and push the belly out. So it's not super, super deep. It's just pushing the belly out. So a lot of time we're so dysregulated and we're breathing in our chest that like I have to spend an hour just getting you to breathe with the diaphragm. So I focus a lot on the belly. I do one of the meditative breaths it's a 3-part breath. So it's all through the mouth. You bring it in to the belly, into the chest, and then blow it out. That one can be intense because you can
Yeah,
go
for
fast or slow. And you do that for an hour.
an
That's a lot.
hour.
Yeah.
That breath right there for an hour
Yeah. Now I get
on your back.
on your back. I mean, knees could be up, swaying. You might want to sit up at times, but that's where it's like being guided is so good, because I can read the room and be like, okay, we're going to slow it down, or we're going to go back to that just in through the nose, out through the
Yeah,
mouth. So
because you're like feeling people's energies, right, and
yeah,
how they're opening up.
yeah. You don't want to just go in, like you can prepare for a session, but you have to go off the person. It's
Mhm.
just important. You don't want to re-traumatize or cause them to hate breath work from going too fast too soon.
Yeah. So all of your sessions that you do in person are 60 minutes.
Yeah, typically they're 60 minutes. Like we have a little chat before to see like where are we at? What do you want to work on? If they've seen me before, like I give them homework because I want it to be practical. I want to be able to send you with breaths that you practice for an hour, but you can do in 30 seconds or 5 minutes and change your day because the anxiety is not going to go away after one session. We have to be practical and do this every day, basically to charge your battery so that when the anxiety hits, you're not dipping down. You have this reserve to keep you like
Uh-huh.
up here.
So you're saying that they could do like a 30-second breath
Yeah.
work pattern or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What does a 30-second one look like?
It can be that same breath that I just showed you.
Uh-huh.
So I would just have them like put a song on so you're not thinking of like time and how long am I doing this. So like, or a timer for 30 seconds. But if it was like a 5 minute song or something,
Yeah.
have them put the song on, place their hand on their belly and their heart, close their eyes, or maybe stare at something if your mind is like really going. And then just start breathing into the belly, the heart, blow it out. And then I have them take a hold. So breathe in, holding the breath. And then picture squeezing all your muscles like you're just making this big ball in your stomach. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then when you can't hold any longer, I have them release, just a big exhale. Then we might shake it out, like shake all that energy, stomp your feet. And usually that's enough of a reset to like get back to it, whatever your task you were doing or what was keeping you,
Yeah.
you know, out of it.
30 seconds. 30
Yeah.
seconds. I like that. That's a great tip. Would you say that like that's your go-to that you tell all your clients who come to you?
Yeah, I think that's practical because if you sit and tell someone like, hey, you got to do 20 minutes or 30 or 60 a day, I mean, we're all just like trying to make it and get through the day sometimes. So I think it's more practical to be like, okay, notice the intrusive thoughts, notice the anxiety or constriction, and stop yourself. Go take that breath. Then get back to what you were doing. And you might do it 10 times a day, but that's just enough to like regulate your nervous system and get back on track. So you're not just like throwing the towel in and just getting, where you skip an event because you're anxious or you go and binge eat because that's like a comfort thing. Like do the breath before you make that food choice. See if you really want it. Was that really something you wanted, or was it a reaction to a feeling or avoidance that you're trying to fill?
I love that. I love that tip. Do the 30-second breath work exercise before making any decisions. Do I want to eat? Do I not want to eat? Do I want to watch this? Do I want to read a book? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Get
like
back in.
all the answers are right inside.
Yes.
And our mind takes us away from that, like on a crazy level that we don't even realize.
Yes. It's insane. Like we get so, it's just, it's being comfortable with what we're used to in these old patterns. And if we're trying to break them and we're trying to do something better, that breath brings you back. And there's this inner wisdom inside of us that gets quieted and muted. And if you can tap into it, it's there. You can hear it.
Yeah. So, what kind of success stories have you heard or had with your clients or even anyone that you've heard through breath work?
I think definitely my biggest one was, and now she's a good friend just through becoming a client, but she found me at a time where when we first met, I had a pop-up tent at like this yoga event in Menor, and she found me and she's like, hey, I'd love for you to come do breath work for my company. It's pretty much all men, and I'm trying to bring in this new flair. Um, and she's this super, super smart businesswoman and just like was having a hard time being like recognized in her job. And then she reached out to me a couple months later and was like, I'm taking a work leave of absence. I'm just spiraling. I'm so stressed. Like she was so mentally exhausted and ill from her job that she could not work. And she's like, I'm trying everything. Like, would you, like, I can't work right now. Would you see me for a session? So we started seeing each other pretty much every week. And we would do breath work. She would have these breakthroughs. She would go home and practice. Um, she got back to work, realized like in her power that this wasn't the career she wanted, stood up for herself, found her voice, started looking for new employment. And it was just seeing her like heal and blossom. And I was there for like this whole journey of being a stranger into this great client and friend. And now she moved across country, has like the job of her dreams, is falling in love, found the person like she really cares about. And yeah, I'm just very grateful to be able to be that stepping stone and that helper for like so many of my clients that they may another client pairs this with her therapy. So she'll like see me and then see her therapist and we'll like have these breakthroughs where she's like, I'm going through this thing with my mom, or I don't know how to confront this person. And we breathe through, like I ask her, I'm like, when you talk about that, like where is that constriction in your body? Might be the heart or the head, like wherever you're feeling that tension when you talk about it. And we'll breathe and we'll release it. And she's one that sees like a lot of visuals and colors. So we'll talk about like, well, what do you think that means? Like, and it pairs with her therapy, which is really cool. So there's just, I actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I've seen a lot of little kids now. So like 5, 6 years old. And it's shocking because I hate that they know the word anxiety. Like I hate, like I don't want to label them. They don't need to even, they might have these feelings, these big feelings, but like I hate that they're being diagnosed because you got this label at such a young age. And I don't want you to feel like you're crippled or you're not able to like do things from it. So these parents have been reaching out and they're like, my daughter has anxiety that whatever doctor therapist is diagnosing. So I bring them in and we don't talk about anxiety, but I talk about the feelings that are in their body. Like, well, what are you feeling? How can we release it? And we dance, we breathe. It's like 30-minute sessions if they can last that long, but we don't sit. Like
Yeah.
we dance and then we breathe and we do like different patterns and like I just go crazy, like coming up with random fun stuff for them. And we do it to music. Like they have a little fun playlist. And I have these two sisters that their cousin, who's 10 years old, they're like a little younger than her, but she has autism and she was over and she was having like a moment of just like outburst energy and yelling. And the mom heard them and they all got really quiet and she's like peeking in the room and they're sitting teaching her breath work. While their cousin's having this like, I don't think it was a panic attack, but she was just like really having a tantrum and moment. And these little girls are like, no, let's sit down, let's breathe. So it's just really, really cool how impressionable they are. And if I can help them now where they're not needing to have medicine or feel like they have
Oh my
this like,
God, you'll break the industry, the whole healthcare
I know,
industry,
I
starting
know.
with the kids.
So if we can help
Breath
them,
work, the right mindset, eating the right foods, working
yeah,
out. Like you start young, you start the kids at that age, then it's yeah,
yeah, yeah.
bye
If we
bye
can,
big pharma.
I know that would be great. But yeah, I mean, ah, if we can help them, because the social media and
We
everything is
will.
just
We
distract
will. We
terrible.
will help
Yes,
them.
yes, we will. We are. It's been great.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Anything else you want to leave for the listeners?
Hmm.
What's your one like gold nugget? I mean, I know the
There's so
30-second
much.
breath.
Yeah.
I know, but what else? Give me one more.
um, I would say if you haven't had the experience of like a 60-minute breathwork session, do it. Whether it's like with me, which would be amazing, virtually, in person, they're all just like, it's such a transformative thing that you can use for anything in life. Like high blood pressure, it helps lower your blood pressure, sleep, depression, anxiety, binge eating, just like anything physical. But then also, like, if you've been through something super, super traumatic and talk therapy just like needs something, to go with it, or maybe you've tried everything and you just feel so stuck, try breathwork. I mean, it's really simple when you're guided and you can have that person to hold space for you. And once you learn it, it's not so like, meditation can be like scary because it's like alone with my thoughts. How am I supposed to do this? But it's not scary. And it's something that I think everyone should have this tool in their pocket for when they need it.
Okay, sign me up for a session.
All right, let's do it.
I'm in for sure. And then we'll come back and talk about it.
That sounds good. We definitely will.
Yeah. All right, Jamie, thanks for coming on. How can people reach you and get a session, virtual or in person?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, which is breathwork.ecc. And then you could also email me, exhale with Jamie, Jamie, @gmail.com. So I try to make it easy. We can compare schedules and just get something on the books.
Yeah, sounds good. That's what we're going to do after this podcast.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
Be
thank
back
you.
soon. Bye bye.